A cold front is approaching from the west, and it's triggering off some severe weather across West Virginia and into Virginia. We're going to take a look at that. Joe Rayo is going to be taking us on a local radar tour, which I think everybody will enjoy. There is some nice spring weather going on in parts of the country. You have to go west for that, or you could go into the southeast, which had a beautiful day today. I got to 80 degrees here in North Georgia with blue skies and sunshine all day long. Oh, if we only could get rid of the marine influence and everything else in the Northeast. Well, we're going to try. And we always try here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which, if you choose to support us, you can do so by doing your Amazon shopping via our referral link at the pinned to the top of the chat board, or it's on the descriptor to this podcast. It keeps the show, the podcast commercial free. So it makes a big difference. All you got to do is use the link, use the search bar, shop for your stuff, and Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there, and it doesn't cost you one thin dime out of your pocket. So we appreciate very much those of you who have support or may consider to support us by shopping on Amazon. So the wind is going to be blowing again, and we've got a cold front that's coming. But I had a gorgeous day today. It was blue skies and sunshine. I went to Walmart and I bought sunscreen, SFP, what is it, SPF or SFP, SPF 100, because I'm going to Florida and I don't want to have to deal with sunburn. So there's that.
Well, it was a decent day out there today. I mean, considering 2 mornings ago I woke up and saw snow. This morning it was mild. By the way, tonight here in the Lower Hudson Valley, Joe, will be an exceptionally mild night for the middle part of April. Many spots may have a tough time getting below 50 degrees tonight. And
Yes.
tomorrow, well, we're going to be dealing with, actually later tonight, we're going to be dealing with two weather fronts, actually, a warm front, and then a few hours later, a cold front moving through. And it could combine to bring us a chance for a few showers, although as we'll see on the radar, it would appear right now that the lion's share of activity is going to pass to the south of the immediate New York City metropolitan area. The heaviest activity and potentially some pretty good thunderstorms may be aiming for central and southern Jersey. And we here in the New York area, and especially up here in the Hudson Valley, may be right on the fringe or right on the edge. We'll get some precip, but nothing to compare with what's going to be happening just off to our south.
Yeah, there's already a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings up in west parts of West Virginia and going into Western Virginia. That's kind of where SPC, set up the risk area today. It was mostly southern Pennsylvania southward, and may play out. But that doesn't mean that there can't be thunderstorms to the north of that. And there probably will be the isolated, uh, stronger thunderstorm cell when that front goes by. And then you have to wait for the upper trough to pass through tomorrow. Once that comes in, the winds are going to kick up, and it does look like the wind machine is going to be working hard from later tomorrow through Wednesday, and maybe even into the early part of Thursday. But it kind of looks to me like the winds may actually ease. And the other thing that may happen is that as we head into the weekend, particularly Saturday, I'm thinking maybe we have a run. May have a run for temperatures well up into the 70s to around 80 before another cold front comes through later in the day, Saturday into Saturday evening.
I agree with you on that. In fact, I went for a high temperature in the Hudson Valley on Saturday of 75. However, for those of you who are saying to yourself now, is that a record for this time of the year? No,
No.
no way. We're not even near the record. The records at that particular point in time were in the 80s and even the 90s. And in fact, April 18th was Easter Sunday in 1976, and we saw 96 degrees in New York City on that particular day. In fact, I don't know how many people remember, Joe. 1 year ago, we saw temperatures in the 90s here in the
Yeah,
tri-state
I
area.
remember. Yeah. It happens in April. It does.
Yep, it does.
It does. And we'll have to see if the Saturday front. and it's going to bring some severe weather or not. That we'll figure out down the road. But Sunday, Easter Sunday, right now is looking like a nice day, although it is going to be much cooler after the frontal passage. So as long as we don't have any complications with stalling fronts and last minute waves that develop on it, Easter Sunday should be okay. And most of Saturday will be fine until that front gets close.
Yeah, basically speaking, um, get a little wet here tonight. Maybe a hit or miss shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. And I noticed that SPC has us in the general thunderstorm category tomorrow. But again, they're going to be few and far between. So, depending upon where you are and whether or not any storms do form, is a question as to whether or not you'll be in the path of one of them. But better safe than sorry. I think it's going to be a rather cloud filled day and a windy day on Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday, lots more in the way of sunshine. And still, as you pointed out, Joe, the wind machine continues to blow. It's going to be that way for a good part of the week and even on into the weekend. In fact, it's looking like if the winds diminish some later on in the week, they may start revving up again just in time for all the Easter egg hunts on Sunday morning.
Hopefully they're plastic eggs because regular eggs are still too expensive. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board, and to those of you who are watching in the background, we welcome you too to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which is a regular Sunday through Thursday event at 7:35 p.m. However, tomorrow night we will be at 8 o'clock. Is that correct, Mr. Rayo?
Correct.
Okay. Tomorrow night we will be at 8 o'clock start. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And of course, if you like the show, hit the like button. Scott Briller, the chairman, who provides us with Briller Jeopardy every night, has got a special one coming up later on in this particular program. So stick around. And thank you for hitting the tip jar, Scott. And also Quiet John hits the tip jar tonight. So a big thank you to Quiet John. So shall we?
Surely.
Yes, we are the Macintosh of the weather world, you and I.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
folks who don't know who Macintosh are, you can look it up. It was a Warner Brothers cartoon. So there. We do have
Macintosh
some
was Macintosh was Warner Brothers' version of Chip and
Chip
Dale.
and Dale, correct.
Yeah.
But I liked Macintosh much better than Chip and Dale.
Oh yeah, much better.
Much better, much funnier. Okay, so we've got severe thunderstorm watches working right now across central and eastern Kentucky, almost all of West Virginia except the northern part of the state, and a good chunk of northern and central Virginia. That's where all the severe weather is going to be tonight, and you'll notice that there's some wind advisories that are already out for parts of southwest Pennsylvania. I don't know how much in the way of wind advisories we're actually going to see because it's sort of like borderline. uh, I was thinking maybe on the order of 20 to 30, maybe a few gusts up closer to 40. I don't think the gradient's going to be tight enough uh, for wind gusts higher than that. But, this time of year when you get the mixing that occurs with the strong April sun, and if there's some instability and all that air starts mixing from the top down, sometimes you can get some pretty hefty wind gusts. We have winter storm warnings up for a few counties in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, some winter weather advisories elsewhere there, and in the northern part of the Lower Peninsula, 3 counties in upstate New York, in north central New York, under winter weather advisories. And everybody else really is just sort of, nice and calm and relatively quiet. And check out the satellite loop. By the way, the Sunday storm system leaves the loop at the very end of the last few frames, but you can see how well defined it is. A nice looking swirl there. And then we have this cold front that's coming through thanks to a storm up over Lake Superior that's moving east, and the trailing cold front kind of arcs out to the east and south. I'll just draw it in here. It sort of looks like this. And we actually had a bit of a warm front come through earlier today. I don't know if there were any sprinkles out of it. There was just some stuff aloft on the radar. But we really just did not get deep enough into the warm sector here to have a truly robust severe weather threat. That is setting up from Kentucky to West Virginia to Maryland and Virginia, at least, and maybe southernmost Pennsylvania, maybe southernmost New Jersey gets clipped out of, with this stuff.
Yeah, the thing about this particular setup, and we'll look at the radar in just a moment. You can even see it on the satellite pictures Joe has up on the screen there, is that the cluster of showers and storms apparently is moving on a track, on a west to east track, which would take it not up toward us, but also more toward the Delmarva and South Jersey area. So down there, anyone between where they are now and the Delmarva area will likely be in line for some nasty weather for the next few hours. But again, for us, we'll be right on the northern edge of that precipitation. And so either we're going to see a few widely scattered showers, mainly late tonight after midnight, or it's possible that we may not see anything at all in some areas. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
All right. Beautiful in the southeast today. I mean, it was just gorgeous from the Carolinas down to Florida and across the Gulf states. Blue skies and sunshine all day long. Temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. Beautiful weather up in the northern and central Rockies, virtually cloud free in most areas, and out to the west coast. Nothing but sunshine through Washington and Oregon and into a good chunk of Northern California, Nevada, and Utah, and the great state of Colorado as well. And here's what it looks like on the wide radar tonight. You can see where the cluster is in at the moment in West Virginia and in Western Virginia. And Joe Rayo is going to take you through a few of the local radars, and we'll see what's going on. Here you go.
Absolutely.
It's all yours.
Absolutely. And we'll do that right now. If I can get the share button to go on. There we are. And there we are. And I'm starting tonight with Charlie West, Charleston, West Virginia, Ruthdale, if you will. And you can see that crossing right through the central part of West Virginia, there are some clusters of deep shades of orange and red. And those are the areas that likely are bringing severe weather in the form of some very heavy thunderstorm activity and maybe even the isolated funnel cloud or tornado that is crossing again just to the north of Charleston, West Virginia, and points again across the central part of West Virginia, also across southern sections of Ohio, are seeing this activity. And again, it's moving at a pretty good clip, mostly from west to east. But again, that movement would not take it toward New York City or the Hudson Valley or Long Island, but more likely off to the south of those areas. In fact, let me take a look here at Roanoke, Virginia, and you can see that in Roanoke, all of this activity, this heavy-duty activity, is passing just off to the north. It's quite possible that Roanoke may not see much of anything tonight, with all of the heavy artillery again passing north of there. We can go to, let's go to Pittsburgh and Coriopolis, and you can see again, here's West Virginia. They're getting again the lion's share of activity, and just clipping the southwestern portion of Pennsylvania, southwestern portions is the activity, mostly again more in the form of light shower activity. Again, the heavy stuff stays well off to the south and looks like it's heading right for, again, the Delmarva area. Let me see if we can get a better view further to the east. No, this is Washington, D.C., and you can see it's just edging in from the west. This is Garrett County in western Maryland. They seem to be getting hit with some convective activity. And again, other rain and shower activity crossing through West Virginia. And if you extrapolate, you will be able to see that this activity will probably move across northernmost sections of West Virginia on into central sections of Maryland, possibly affecting the Washington-Baltimore area. And if it all holds together, it looks like it'll be making its way in toward the Delmarva Peninsula. That would probably be, I would say, as a guesstimate, in a couple of 3 hours. But we're up here. I'm going to just show the radar from the immediate New York area. And if you take a look, there isn't much to show. this activity out over the ocean is probably not even reaching the ground, reaching the ocean. And you can see that for the moment, at least for this evening, we're home free. Whether or not we get any precip in the form of some scattered shower activity later tonight, well, that's up for grabs. But it does not look like anything significant or major in the immediate future for, again, much of the tri state area, save for some showers later tonight. Joe,
Okay, that was brilliant, Joe. Just
thank you.
totally brilliant. No one does radars better than Joe Rayo. And the Storm Prediction Center, who we know watches this show almost continuously, um, they actually added an enhanced risk today for of severe weather. They did it early this afternoon across West Virginia and Western Virginia, which is pretty much where it's all playing out now. And you see that the marginal risk really doesn't push up that far north along the coastal plain. It gets just to about the Delaware, the bridge toll in Delaware when you come off the Delaware Bay Bridge, and that's it. Slight risk from Kentucky to Virginia and into eastern Maryland. Looks like Washington, D.C. is in the slight risk. Baltimore is just sort of on the edge. And the thing is, uh, these storms are the way they're timing out. We're losing the daytime heating now. They're going to have to rely on whatever upper air energy is around, and with a shortwave trough, and it's probably going to wane as we head into the midnight hours and beyond. I think that'll lessen the risk for severe weather. Now, going forward, I believe the next 2 days, there's that general thunderstorm area that Joe's indicated earlier across central and eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey to about New York City and points north into southern Maine. You go south, there's nothing. A couple of areas out in the west, the Four Corners area, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and northern Arizona, and then an area in Northern California, also under an area of general thunderstorms. And then for day 3, which is Wednesday into Thursday, I don't know what that looks like. It reminds me of something. It kind of looks like a car, okay, or a truck of some kind. But from California east through the north central Rockies and then down into the central plains, we have a risk for general thunderstorms, but no severe weather is being indicated at this time. But we do have in the long range on day 4, uh, covering Iowa, northern Missouri, and eastern Nebraska. On day 5, it's a northeast southwest area from southern Michigan, cutting across Illinois and Missouri, through Oklahoma and into north central Texas. So SPC's got something in the long range. It's always a good idea to keep it in the back of your mind and pay attention. And by the way, obviously, if you're watching this live, we're in real time now, which is at 7:53 Eastern. Uh, Yep, 7:53 p.m. Eastern time. But if you're watching this on a replay later on, it might be wise for you to go to your local National Weather Service office forecast page in order to see what's going on with respect to severe weather. And as far as rain is concerned this week, really not much. They've got a tenth of an inch or less for eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, a bit more as you go up in Maine and in northern New York. And on the Canada side, actually 3/4 of an inch to areas of an inch and a half. And also from the lakes southward down into Texas, we've got a fairly large area of 2 to 3 inch plus rainfalls being forecast over the next 7 days from north central Oklahoma northeastward into Missouri. So that kind of matches up with the severe weather risk that we have on day 5. So this would be toward the end of this week. Hardly any rain in the southeastern Florida, hardly any rain in the west. You do have precip, rain or snow or both, up and down the Rockies on the order of maybe some half to 3/4 of an inch, although there are some places in Montana where we're looking at an inch and a half of liquid plus. So, going forward, we've got this upper trough, and you see how the shortwave amplifies tomorrow. It's going to come through. There'll be a shot of colder air that comes in for Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Wednesday night. then that pulls out. Then we get into a bit of a ridge position as we go into the end of the week and into Saturday. That's why I'm thinking maybe we could see temperatures make a run for 80 on Saturday, and Joe agrees. We have a deep upper low that's going to drop down into the southwest, and you see it there over Utah. And then another short wave that swings across Canada. So that brings a cold front through the east on Saturday and then makes for a dry Sunday. But um, we're kind of, it's not a strong ridge here in the east. It's sort of on the flattish side going into the longer term. So I don't think it would be, overly warm. And the other issue you'll have to pay attention to is even though that the upper air looks to be a bit on the warmish side, this could be, we could have setups where in New England down to the northern mid-Atlantic states, you're sitting in marine air and places further to the south are getting up into the 70s and 80s and enjoying dry weather and sunshine. So it's always tough in the spring when you have to deal with that dichotomy in the east where, you know, the, you get these highs that build down from New England and build southward, and you think it's just going to be a big warm up, and you wind up with a backdoor front and say goodbye to the warm up.
Yeah, but I wouldn't exactly call the front that's going to be moving in on us for late Saturday and Saturday night a backdoor
No, that's not
front.
a backdoor. That's definitely not a backdoor. I was talking maybe down the road, late after that. We go into later next week and beyond.
In fact, I saw something today. Hang on for a second here. Um, yeah, here we go. This was 7 years ago. On this day 7 years ago, after the temperature peaked at 77 in the middle of the afternoon at Central Park, a backdoor cold front moved through, and by midnight, the temperature had dropped to 44. This was the greatest drop in temperature. This is in 2018 now, the greatest drop in temperature since January 13th, when it plummeted from 58 degrees to 19 degrees, and it was also the second biggest drop in more than 4 years. So, 2018 on this day, we had, as Joe mentioned, you often see this at this time of the year, a backdoor front that came on by and knocked the temperature down from almost 80 degrees down into the low to mid 40s by midnight. And that all happened in less than 12 hours. Those backdoor fronts can be pretty nasty and they can carry quite a wallop, quite a punch.
Yeah, no, the front for Saturday definitely not a backdoor. In fact, it's oriented northeast southwest, which means there actually might be a decent westerly gradient on Saturday ahead of this. So unless you're standing right at the beach, there probably won't be a sea breeze. So everybody could see temperatures up in the 70s and get into the 80s, depending on how much sun. And then, of course, you'll have to watch for the possibility that there could be some thunderstorms when this front comes on through. The European seems to be pointing to this. Also, earlier before that, you've got those storms in Missouri into Iowa. That's where SBC's got some severe weather risk in its day 5, and then on move into day 6, and you're seeing the setup that runs from Michigan down into north central Texas. So that would be for Friday into Friday night, and then of course Saturday you got the front coming into the east, and then a nice high tries to build in for Easter Sunday. But then we've got a deepening low that moves out of New Mexico and runs up into the plains. So that might mean for some Easter Sunday severe weather in parts of the Mississippi, the middle and upper Mississippi Valley, perhaps, but still a long ways away. No sign of any nor'easter. The pattern, is really not conducive. We sort of, if you technically want to call what happened this past weekend that it was a nor'easter, I guess so, but it wasn't anything to write home about uh, as far as impact is concerned, other than the fact that it made it gloomy doomy. But we don't see anything here in the longer range that would suggest that there's some kind of nor'easter down the road. Because usually, in reality, nor'easters are more common in the spring than they are during the winter months. But pattern was all wrong during the winter months, and it's not exactly been corrected very much uh, here this spring. We get blocky every once in a while, but it doesn't sustain.
Well, it has been said, this is a quote from the great weather historian David Ludlam that the stormiest month of the year overall, at least in the Northeast, is April. I didn't quite believe that, but you think about it, all those backdoor fronts and the occasional nor'easter, and the fact that, and I learned about this, so I took a very close look at it when I did the climatology for the big eclipse last year. During April, there are not one, not two, but three different active storm tracks that are occurring across the United States. The Colorado low track, the Alberta Clipper storm track, and the track that moves storms up along the eastern seaboard. So that could be the reason why, overall, out of all of the months of the year, April is tends to be a very unsettled and stormy month.
Yeah, and then you have days like tomorrow, which Matthew, I'm sorry, my glasses, Matthew Warman was asking about when are the thunderstorms forecast to come in the Northeast tomorrow. It's instability driven by the upper trough, so they could pop. If they're going to pop up, I would say probably late morning to late afternoon, and they're going to be here and there. You'll see them in upstate New York. The radar will probably have a popcornish look to it. It's not like I don't think we're going to see any kind of organized line because it's more about the upper trough really. The front's already going to be gone. So uh, if you're thinking it's going to be a day of widespread thunderstorm activity tomorrow, it is not.
Atmospheric atmospheric zits.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right, you have got Briller Jeopardy tonight, and of course everybody's been clamoring for this particular category.
All right. Well, I'll take a look and
Oh
see
wait,
what.
do I have it? No, I have it.
No, you have it. That's right. Because
I
last
have
night
it. I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
had Little House on the
Scott
I had
sent
Little
it to
House on the
me.
Prairie last night.
Yes. So tonight, folks, it's the honeymooners. The honeymooners. And since Joe is pretty much a total expert on this, we'll let the chat board, which I'm sure is going to clean up with these questions. So the first one is, what bus company does Ralph drive for? What bus company does Ralph drive for? And we're waiting for the first answers to pop up. And already, Mr. Olson, Mr. Croce, Mr. Cassia, Mr. Frank R., the Gotham Bus Company. That is correct. Now, um, the, Joe, you know this one. The Cramdens and the Nortons live at what address?
Well, I'm not going to say it. I know it, but
No, I got the answer. I couldn't remember the number, but I remembered the street. By the way, the street does exist
Vincent Croce got it right.
and Chuck
And to tell
Cardillo,
you,
328 Chauncey Street.
believe it or not, there's one episode of The Honeymooners where Jackie Gleason got the address wrong, got mixed up. Instead of saying 328, he said 728 Chauncey
Oh,
Street.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
Well, it happens. I guess they left it in there. What was Alice's maiden name? What was Alice's maiden name? I know you know this. And
Harold Olson,
Harold Olson gets it with Gibson.
yeah.
Didn't even have to give a hint. Give them all bell rings, Joe. They're doing so well.
Yes, they are, aren't they? Yes.
Who was the first actress to play the role of Alice? The first actress to play Alice. I know you know it, Joe.
Yes, well,
Yes, you do. So we'll
could it
see.
help if I gave the initials?
No, don't give the initials. Let's see if somebody can get this. Um, no, it was not Vivian Vance, Christinapedia. Wrong series. Same right network, wrong series. Um, you've got the
I
first
will
name
give,
right,
I'm
Harold
going to give a,
Olson.
I'm going to give a hint. Oh yeah, well, Harold Olson, yeah, yeah. I was going to say if you know what the definition for a girl or young woman's attractively lovely or cheeky look?
Yeah. Joe, you could reveal the answer because I don't think anybody's going to get it.
Pert Kelton. Pert Kelton was the first actress to play Alice, and you got to get a look at the lost episodes. The first few episodes had Pert Kelton, and I think she left because she was apparently blacklisted, and so they had to find somebody else, and so that's how they ended up with Joyce with not Joyce Randolph with
Audrey Meadows.
Audrey Meadows. Yes,
Right, who was rejected the first time she went into the audition.
yes.
They thought
Jackie
they,
Gleason said
they
she's
thought she was too classy.
too classy, too pretty, and so it shows you she really wanted the part.
Right.
She had a photographer come in and take a picture of her after she just woke up in the morning, and then sent that picture to Jackie Gleason. Gleason didn't even realize it was the person he turned down. Looked at it and said, "She's perfect for the part. She is," and I'm quoting Jackie Gleason now, ladies. "She's a dowdy broad."
Yeah. God. Um, Alice wants to hide Ralph's gift. Where does she put it before Ralph finds out? Alice wants to hide Ralph's gift. Where does she put it where does she put it before Ralph finds out? That's right, Chuck Cardillo, under the ice box.
Nice.
And Harold Olson also under the ice box. No, Christina Pedia, not in the oven. In under the ice box. Didn't Ralph, when he went under there was a mouse trap?
A rat trap,
A
actually.
rat trap? Lovely.
I'd like to
Oh,
know, by the way, I've seen that episode, the Christmas episode, dozens of times. He sticks his hand underneath the ice box, and almost immediately you hear the snap, and he pulls out, and there's the rat trap on his fingers. And I'm saying to myself, how is it possible that, there had to be somebody there who grabbed his fingers and just put it on there. I find it difficult to believe that the Jackie Gleason
well, then
purposely,
they come, I'm sure, yeah, and then, a little sound effect action
yeah,
to make the noise of the trap snapping.
yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, it would be painful. It would be painful.
Here's a trivia question for you, Joe. Where
Yes.
did where did Norton get Ralph's spats in that episode? He got they exchanged boxes. Ralph got Norton a tie,
Right. And he
and
got him.
Norton gave Ralph a box, and he said, "I guess you gave me a tie." He says, "Hey, no tie. Those are spats. I got you a pair of spats." And Ralph says, "I know they came from the heart." And Norton says, "No, they came from
I don't remember. I don't
the
know.
fat man shop."
The Fat Man Shop.
On radio back in the 70s, there was a place for rotund people,
Oh, yeah.
rotund,
I
heaven,
forgot the name.
He-Man,
What's
the
that?
He-Man,
The
He-Man.
He-Man. Yes.
It's heaven
Yes.
on earth for He-Man.
And let me see. I'm going to see if I can bring this up. Um, let's see if it shows up. No, it's not in my Google Photos yet, but I got pictures of a bear that apparently uh, was was here Sunday morning. Big one. It looked like a very hungry male at about 5:15 in the morning at my next door neighbor right next door. For some reason, they don't want to come on my property. I think it's because of the St. Francis statue that I have. I can't prove that, but there's a statue there, and bears don't come on my property. You can make that whatever you'd like to make it. Although
Put
I
out
would
a
I would
put
think
out a
that this.
garbage. Leave your garbage pail out without the top on, and
Oh,
I
no, no,
guarantee.
I don't. No, I don't do that. In fact, today I took the garbage to the garbage dump, which I usually do once a week, and I get 2 bags of garbage because it's $1.50 to drop it off. Uh, but in the springtime, I can't wait. I can't wait to do that because if I put the bag outside, if not on the first night, they will be there on the second night. In the dead of winter, it's fine. But once you get into the spring months, they're out looking for food. So um, I, I'm no, I don't put my garbage out. So there. Uh, that's how you when you live in the mountains and you have bear, that's what you got to do. So all right, I guess we're done. We can say good night now, and just a. I think we. Let me see if I got all the super. Oh, we got one more super. Oh, two Quiet John super chat hits, Joe. Two from Quiet John.
Tonight? I didn't even
Yes,
see it.
it came before the show started, and
Oh,
and thank you for that. And Scott Briller, thank you, and thank you for the honeymooners pictures. Yeah, no,
those
not quite like the dancing bear.
are-
No,
remember Captain
Captain
Kangaroo had.
Kangaroo. Yeah, I just was thinking about that when you liked Grandfather Clock personally. That was my favorite.
I'm trying to let me see. Let me just see quickly. Dancing bear. If I went on Google, dancing bear, comma. Um,
Captain
where's the
Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo? Let's see if they have. Yep, there it is. There he is.
Yeah, that was Dancing Bear. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, and
I
Bunny Rabbit.
Yep.
And then there was Bunny Rabbit, who always took the carrots.
I went to a bookstore to get where where Bob Keeshan was appearing. This was when I was living in Levittown, Long Island, and I heard he was going to be there, and I ran down. I bought his book, and he autographed it for me. But I was met at the door by Dancing Bear and another guy who was dressed up like Mr. Moose.
Oh, nice. Well, just you just reminded me. I am one of the few people ever to have set that wasn't working on the show. It was a closed set, and I am one of the few people that was actually on the set of Captain Kangaroo when I worked at WCBS back in the late
Wow,
1970s.
wow.
And Alan took me to meet Bob Keeshan because they were taping. This was at the broadcast center on West 57th Street. That was really cool. Mr. Green Jeans was there. And Mr. Green Jeans drove every day from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
His nickname was Lumpy, and he never revealed why it was Lumpy. But
I didn't know that, and if I had, I won't ask him either. But it was very nice. It was a very nice. It was a wonderful experience, actually.
yep, I think
Okay, what's that?
I said I think it was a wonderful. Out of just meeting him, when I met him and he was having the book signing, he wasn't looking at anybody. You handed him the book, and he scribbled his name. And I said to myself, I wonder if I get a rise out of him if I ask him a question. And so as he's writing his name in my book, I said, by the way, I enjoyed you on Saturdays when you played Mr. Mayor. I don't know if you remember, that was a short live show on Saturdays. Uh, Bob Keeshan played another character named Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, I don't
and
remember that.
he looked up like he says, "Oh yeah, I remember that." And he went down and
Yeah,
started writing.
I met him again at News 12. He came in. He was doing some charity work, and he was on as a guest. Very nice guy. Both times
Yep.
that I met him. So okay, we'll see everybody tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Hope you had a great day. Have a safe night. So we'll see you mañana. Ta ta.
8 o'clock.